Welcome to The Definitive Wrap, where we report the truth about American exceptionalism. We love our flag, we love our country, and we believe in America. The Definitive Wrap, where we respect people of faith, the men and women in blue, and our support for Israel. And now your hosts, Bela Sebro, she's the nice one, and Alan Skorsky. He's not so nice. But together they are The Definitive Wrap.
In our last segment, we interviewed attorney David Schoen on the legal ramifications for Ben & Jerry's and Unilever. In this segment, we are honored to have with us Nassau County Councilman Bruce Blakeman, who in record time mobilized the town of Hempstead in Long Island, New York, to initiate the anti-BDS legislation to ban all contracts between the town and Unilever. Welcome to the show, Councilman.
Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, my first question for you is, once Ben & Jerry's issued the press release, what were the first steps that you took to get the town of Hempstead to act, and how did you mobilize members of both parties so quickly?
Well, first of all, in the town of Hempstead in 2016, and I should add that the town of Hempstead is America's largest township. We have close to 800,000 people, and we are bigger than some states. So we're talking about a significantly large community, of which probably over 150,000 of our residents are Jewish. So that would make us one of the largest Jewish communities in the world. So we heard from constituents that were very happy that we passed the first anti-BDS law in America, to my knowledge. And then basically what happened was we did not have an occasion over the last 5 years to enforce the law until Ben & Jerry's made their announcement that they were not going to operate in Judea and Samaria, which we see as a violation of our anti-BDS law. So what happened was I heard from a number of community leaders, spiritual leaders, rabbis, those that run local yeshivas, indicating that they were aware that we had anti-BDS legislation and would we do something about this. So I spoke with Supervisor Clavin and Councilman D'Esposito, asked them for their support in enforcing the anti-BDS, not only against Ben & Jerry's, but also against their parent company, Unilever.
Right.
And they thoroughly endorsed my recommendation, as did all the other members of our town board. We have a Democrat on our town board who is an African-American woman. She's our senior councilwoman, Dorothy Gooseby, who is a civil rights leader, a well-known civil rights leader. And she not only voted for the anti-BDS legislation, but she also said that if we have this law and they're violating it, we have to enforce it. And she was at the press conference today as well. So it was bipartisan. It was people from all communities that were standing with Israel and recognizing that all of this BDS stuff is anti-Semitic. It's not just anti-Israel, right. It's anti-Semitic.
Right.
Councilman, until now, what was the relationship between Unilever and the town of Hempstead? And how much money are we talking about in this cancellation? Also, who is it affecting? Universities, nursing homes, hospitals?
Yeah, so that's a good question, Bela. So the town of Hempstead has probably close to 100 parks, if not more. We also have catering facilities. We have other vendors. We purchase a lot of products for use in our town and for town government. So this would apply to anybody that does direct business with the town. So in other words, if you are a restaurant that's operating in a town park, if you are a vendor that's operating at our beach, if you are selling products to our maintenance department or general services, basically we will go through the list of Unilever products and tell our vendors and our suppliers that there are certain products they cannot use, the products from Unilever, until they rescind what they did with Ben and Jerry's. Or listen, Unilever, you're a big company, sell Ben and Jerry's, get rid of them. They're bad people, and they're on the wrong side of what's right in America. The fact that we should have religious freedom, and the fact that Jewish people should be able to practice their religion without bigotry, without anti-Semitism, because people ask all the time, being anti-Israel is not being anti-Semitic. Isn't that true? And it's not true, because these people that want to boycott or divest or sanction Israel, they never say anything about countries with horrible human rights records, nothing compared to the United States or Israel, like Venezuela, like Cuba, like Iran, like Yemen, North Korea, China, Russia. We could go down a whole list of countries, and they never, ever say a word about them, which indicates that they are focusing on Israel because it's a Jewish state. And we cannot close our eyes to that, and we cannot pretend that they are just arguing against issues related to a foreign government, to Israel. It's about anti-Semitism. They're singling Israel out because it's a Jewish state, and we're not going to tolerate that.
Councilman, can you take us through the steps, whether it's a town, a city, or a state? Because as you've read, Texas now is about to initiate their boycott of Unilever and Ben & Jerry's. Can you take us through the steps of, once it gets triggered, what is the process from beginning until the boycott becomes official state or town policy?
Well, here's what we would like. First of all, I don't know whether or not the volume of dollars with respect to the business that Unilever does with the town of Hempstead is something that is going to move the needle. What we think is going to move the needle is the fact that we are America's largest township. We represent close to 800,000 people. And we are saying that this is wrong, and we're taking action in the hopes that other people and other agencies and other governments join with us. So I was very, very pleased to hear about Texas, what they might do. Love to see Florida get on board. Unfortunately, I'm very pessimistic about New York State, because New York State has had a bill pending for 5 years, anti-BDS legislation that can't get passed, because the same anti-Semitic, hate America crowd is in Albany that's in Washington. And I'm talking about people who side with Omar, Tlaib, AOC, and Bernie Sanders.
Right.
Those are people that are not only anti-Israel, they're anti-American. They want to change our Judeo-Christian system. They want to destroy capitalism, and we're not going to let that happen.
Thank you. Councilman, when the town made the call, what was their response? Did they try to say, it's not our fault, don't punish us for what Ben & Jerry's did?
Well, we haven't heard from Unilever yet. We're hoping that they will take notice, and because of programs like this one and the media that we had today, we had 4 New York City TV stations there. We had our local cable TV station there, which is a very large cable news network. And we are now getting a lot of international coverage of what we've done, because what we've done is do something that is very strong and very courageous on the part of my colleagues on the town board. So I want to commend Supervisor Clavin, Councilman D'Esposito, Councilman Gooseby, Councilman Muscarella, Councilman Dunn, and Councilman Carini, because they never wavered. They never cowered because they're afraid of taking on such a large organization as Unilever. And quite frankly, I think Unilever now has serious regrets in giving Ben & Jerry's so much leeway, because earlier this morning, I was very happy to hear that their stock was down $3 a share, which is very significant. So hopefully this will have an impact on them, and they will see the error of their ways.
Right. A lot of pressure applied. You're currently running for Nassau County Executive. So as the executive, how much more influence would you have to solidify what you've already initiated?
Well, that's a great question. Yes, I am running for county executive. Basically, there was an anti-BDS law that was passed by the Nassau County legislature, the Republican majority in the legislature. So we'd like to see them join us in enforcing their law. The current county executive, she always says nice things. However, she's a Democrat who has yet to denounce Tlaib, Omar, AOC, or Bernie Sanders. Now, these people are anti-Semitic. They're anti-American, quite frankly. And if in my party we had somebody that was anti-Semitic, we would demand that they get out of our party and we would denounce them. But the progressives who are moving this anti-Semitic cause, they won't let Democrats speak out against the BDS because they're sympathizers. Right. And they've got their whole party scared to death of these anti-American, socialist, anti-Semitic people that I believe are a minority in the Democratic Party, but everybody's afraid of them and they're cowering to them. And unless Democrats get courageous and throw them out of their party, it's a real national disgrace.
Right.
Thank you, Councilman Blakeman, for leading this valiant effort. And thank you to our audience for tuning in, and to vinnews.com for our show being their official podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Toda rabah.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Definitive Wrap with your hosts, Bela Sebro and Alan Skorsky. Be sure to tell your family and friends they also can listen to The Definitive Wrap on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, and your favorite streaming service. See you next time on The Definitive Wrap.